Ladies and gentlemen, it's a MGN Nation podcast. Welcome to it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, hey, Sunday mornings, always just a little bit sweeter, a little bit nicer. Coffee tastes a little bit better after North Texas comeback win. If you ain't know, maybe you're at wrestling. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what you're doing in your life. Maybe you were at wrestling. You're having a good old time.
Who
Um,
watches wrestling?
I mean, like you live your life, right? And you're like, let me just check the game, see what happened to my North Texas Mean Green. And then you're like, oh, are they down 10? What? And then, like maybe you get in a car, you start it or whatever, and you're getting ready to go. And then you look up and they won the game 41-37. You're like, how'd they do that? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this episode of the Mean Green Nation podcast.
Well,
Joined
hot
as,
dang.
joined as usual by Mr. Aldo Avina. How are you doing on this fine Mean Green winning morning?
Feeling really good. I got to watch wrestling, and then I got to watch North Texas win against FAU. It was great.
Look at
Great
that.
day all
Look at
around.
that. Did your guy win? I guess the guy you're rooting for to do the wrestling. Did he wrestle?
Uh,
You know.
Actually, the guy that I wanted to watch, his name's Swerve. He's from Tacoma. He didn't actually wrestle today, so that was a bummer. But uh, the whole day was pretty good. A lot of different matches. They're mixing things up. AEW was
Yeah.
hosted at the Tacoma Dome, and it's great because I was able to jump on the train, take the train out there, pre-game a little bit before getting there. Got inside, tons of people, tons of energy,
So
and then I got
they would say the Tacoma Dome. That's where the Sonics used to play, right?
yeah,
Way way
that's where
way
they
back
played
when.
for a year, I think in '95. And I've been hunting for Supersonic shirts.
Yeah.
It says Tacoma Supersonics and it has like the Tacoma skyline on the
Oh,
shirt.
fancy.
It's pretty good. Yeah, I like skyline shirts. But yeah, it was good. It was really tense watching. I was trying to just keep an eye on the score, right? Not watching any of the game, but then it got closer to the end and I kept pulling it up, and I was feeling tense. And I was like, we're gonna talk about how we go to FAU and we can't pull it out. But man,
Well,
after the wrestling, I went home and watched the game.
so I did that classic sports Reddit thing where I started the blog post, the quick reaction. I've been trying to do that, and I've been doing a good job of doing that. If I pat myself on the back, straighten my back, patting myself on the back. Um, of doing the quick game recaps, right? And like the quick reactions. I used to do like a fuller recap, but I was like, this one I'll just keep it simple. But I had it in my mind, like I'm trying to enjoy the game, but I also have an idea of what I'm gonna write. Like, like you said, we talked about it. In the ebook preseason preview. I said, something weird always happens. We go to Florida. There's like a curtain. There's a curse over there. We go there. Something weird happens. And something weird tried to happen here again, right? There's a little poltergeist thing happening. It Cam Fancher
Speaking of,
Cam Fancher was
oh,
possessed by the ghost of Dan Marino or something like that, because he was just dealing out there, that dude. 20 of 30 for 351 yards, three scores. He threw the interception, but that was on the final play of the game, right? Like, to that point, he was nearly perfect, just about perfect. You'd be like, oh, this is the best quarterback in the league out here. You run, he can throw, he can throw on the run.
it can do all the things.
Yeah. So you were going to say something, and I interrupted you with my Dan
Oh
Marino
no, no,
joke.
I was trying to interrupt you. I was gonna say, speaking of curtain, there were curtains of rain all over the place. I didn't really realize because I was at wrestling. I was on my phone, right? And so when I pulled it up at home, I see just curtains of rain. I was like, oh, no
Yeah.
wonder. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird. The whole thing was weird, right? So, all right, here's the thing, right? Let's recap it. In the light of day, North Texas allowed 519 yards of offense, 351 yards passing,
Ouch.
168 yards rushing. Yeah.
Ouch.
Um, 8 of 15 allowed on third downs. And to the point, we're going to talk about this big third down a little bit later. This might be a little bit longer show just because we have so much to talk about. It was 8 of 14. Like, and all that is just like, well, okay. FAU come into this game was converting only 26% of their third downs. And then they switched to like, 79%, whatever it was, whatever that percentage.
Ouch.
Ridiculous. Cam Fancher had thrown only 2 touchdowns in 5 games. He threw 3 tonight.
Ouch.
Yeah, like he was dealing. They were running. They were breaking every tackle. In the preview of this game, I was saying like, look, Cam Fancher's the worst quarterback statistically in the league, right? Like he throws up ducks. Doesn't look like he's reading the defense. It's like one read go. Their defense, FAU's defense, is pretty okay, and you can sort of see the shape of a team that could be good if they had a good quarterback. And that's what I said, right? And I even went on the Mean Green Gridiron show. I even threw in some Colts things in there for Aldo. I don't know if you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, and like the whole thing, I was like, okay, well, is it gonna happen? Like I don't know. I feel like they just got to take full advantage. And I feel like, the football gods are like, oh, yeah, y'all talking mess. You think you're going to get one over on old Cam Fancher? Well, suddenly he's blessed with, some Tom Brady accuracy. And that was it. It was pinpoint accuracy all night. How do you explain it? I don't know. Guy played the game of his career. I haven't looked at his whole career, but it's pretty middling at, Marshall up until this point. Like, it was pretty unimpressive. And he comes out here and he starts dealing. So the rain didn't affect Cam Fancher. It sort of affected Chandler Morris, who looked like he was pushing the ball a couple times. But, I mean, Morris threw an interception, a god-awful interception in the second half, and he nearly threw another one, right? I realize we're trying to push the ball downfield sometimes, but I don't really think that there was an excuse for either of those ones. And we'll talk about that later. But headline, DT Sheffield, 11 catches, 126 yards, 2 scores, and both of those scores with the get to 3 points and then the go-ahead score on 13 targets. Not only that, he had like 67 yards on punt returns, including the big one to set up that drive. Like, just huge with a Y.
Yeah.
And then
Player of the game.
Yeah, and then the other part is like you look at the stats, you're like, okay, 1 catch, 15 yards, first down. That catch was a little bubble screen where he caught it, dipped around the lineman, turned it upfield, and got 15 yards. Like, that was huge. It was all,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, that had the potential to be a negative yard play. And we're like, what are we doing throwing screens? Well, that's why you throw screens to playmakers, because they can just dance around a guy and turn it to 15 yards.
Yeah, and I think they ran that play twice, and both times were really successful. Like you said, it could have been disastrous, but playmakers were able to turn that into big positive play. I can't remember who the other one was. Maybe it was also DT, or maybe it was Porter. Anyway, that play was working great. The and remember when I said last week that they were gonna at a certain point the screen was gonna get blown up, and it happened today or at the game a couple of times. The regular screen to the outside
Yeah.
where our guys would just get swarmed, and it was tough to move the ball. So they made a different kind, or they used a different kind of screen, and it worked great. It was throwing the defense off tempo.
So a lot of people had hot sports opinions on like the first couple. They're halfway through, they're like, "Oh, the defense is losing us the game," and I mean, yeah, they got punched in the mouth. But again, in their defense, to their credit, they were not expecting Cam Fancher to be again, C.J. Stroud again. He's like, yeah, C.J. Stroud. He thought he graduated, but he put on a mask and he's out here playing. So he was dealing. And then in the second half, they played well, right? I tweeted this one out, and I put it in a quick reaction. First half stats for FAU. 27 points, 357 total yards, including, 225 yards passing. Second half stats for FAU. 10 points allowed, 162 total yards, including 36 yards rushing, 1.7 yards per rush, and only 126 yards passing. And I will say that those 10 points allowed were Morris's fault. The Morris the coach and then Morris the quarterback. One interception gets all the way down to the 12-yard line, whatever it was. Then it was a one-play touchdown, right? Those quick changes, those are always bad. And then the other one was Eric Morris saying, I know we're under 32 and it's 8 minutes left. I'm not going to punt the ball. We're going to go for it. And if it fails, they're going to have an easy field goal. That's what they did. So I want to talk about that later. But that did bother me. Eric Morris was not right suddenly. It worked out, but it was not right. So first quarter, I thought North Texas played well. 14-7, we beat them in the first quarter. We only had 120 yards, but we had some shorter fields. It was a little concerning that FAU had 159 yards. They were kind of walking down the field. But to your point about us being clever, I tweeted that too. I was like, a lot of clever stuff from North Texas, where we're showing looks that we've shown before, right? Hey, here's that swing pass right out to the receiver and a little just swing pass where he has immediate blocks to the right with the receivers. We're gonna fake that, hand it off, counter the other way, right? Or swing, throw it back this way. Looks that we've shown, we're showing the counters to them. Not only to just, in reaction, but like a pre-reaction. We're like, hey, we know that you've seen this on film, and we know that you're ready for it. Now we're going to give you the other side of it. So that way we're doing well. Good game planning, little bye week stuff by, Davis, the offensive coordinator, by Eric Morris, our head coach and play caller. Great stuff. I liked it. We went down the field. It took forever, right? What was that drive? You had that drive handy? Was it 14 plays, 75 yards. That's a good drive, It's kind of take the sting out the game. If there were fans, they would have been, kind of quieted. There's nobody there. It was raining. It's FAU. I think there were more crew than there were fans in the stands. 14 plays, 75 yards.
And that's all in the first quarter?
Yeah, that was first quarter.
Yeah, so the first quarter felt like we were wheeling and dealing. FAU was moving the ball, but we kept him in check, right? That I wasn't feeling. I was trying to go into the game. I knew the outcome, but going into the game to watch it, I was like, all right, blank slate. I didn't see it score. Oh well, let's see what's going on. And I thought the defense was doing all right. Scheme was fine. Guys were where they needed to be. They were penetrating, putting pressure on the QB, but couldn't finish the tackle, right? Or he'd slip out. And like you said, be CJ Stroud and run out of the pocket and find a guy. It's like, where's this coming from? And but we were able to contain, so I was feeling all right by this point.
Yeah, I forgot to mention. So we punted right on our second drive. It was a great drive, and then kind of we punted. I think it was a 3-and-out. And then the next drive, we got the ball. We got it sort of a steal because we punted to them. They muffed it, right? And Xavier Price. Is it Bryce? Bryce, right?
Bryce.
Yeah, he first minutes for the squad. He jumps on a muffed punt, recovers it, and then one play, 25 yards to Nick Rempert, touchdown North Texas, right? So we in the first quarter up 14-7. We punt, but it was basically just a deep pass essentially. So great stuff. Second quarter, we got smoked. 20-3 was the score. 20 for FAU, 3 for us. We only had 78 yards. They had 200. It was 198. And like you said, we just could not get to the dude. He was just scoring. Eric Morris in his little interview with the halftime lady is like, yeah, we couldn't stop them. They scored every drive, and they did. And we just can't convert third downs. And that was true. We're 0 for 3 in the second quarter, 0 for 3 in the first. They scored on every drive. It was, what was it? Touchdown, field goal, touchdown, field goal. And they were long drives, right? 7 plays, 75 yards. 11 plays, 71. 10 plays, 73. 9 plays, 75. And then finally the field goal one was 5 plays, 38, right at the end of the half. So my concern, right, was that, like you said, we showed some good. Hey, we're stopping them, right? We're getting on first and second down, good stops. Third down, can we get out of it? No. Like we said, 8 of 14 on third downs, and a lot of them were like you said. We have the dude, but he's like dip, diving, CJ Strouding, throw it on the dime. And like I don't know what you do in that situation because obviously your base defense, your base calls, or even if your third down, sometimes we had our nickel stuff out there was sound enough to chase him out of the pocket or something. But I don't know we have enough speed to get him. There's nobody that's clearly fast enough to go get him. And I mean, I don't know what do you do. You have your hands on the dude and he escapes. Like, I mean, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, both metaphorically and literally slippery, and so it makes it tougher for the guys to take him down. But you're right. That's something that that's the see-through mug right there. Uh, you're right. There was I did notice that there is a distinct lack of aggression and speed from the defense. Like there's no superstar that he's gonna clock you, right? When
Yeah,
we talk about teams of old, like, oh, you don't want to get hit by that guy. Like or Will, what's his face? Will Wright.
yeah. Marcus
Those
Trice
guys.
even, yeah, or like a
Yeah,
couple of other dudes. Yeah, I can't even think of their name right now. But like yeah, that's the thing is that we don't have anybody that's gonna just make you hurt for having to skate the pocket. And you're like, oh, I don't want to do that again. Like it's open.
right, right.
I don't want to do that again.
Knock that moth guard out.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, so like he's running around, sliding, getting out of bounds, whatever. Second half they did a great job, and I haven't looked at the scheme. So, but by my estimation, it looked like they went with four pass rushers, four down guys, and I think the edge rusher was. It might have been just a linebacker on occasion, but
Well,
like Dawkins.
sometimes.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. What I was gonna say is that yeah, they'd have three down linemen, but they would put four, five, six guys on the line,
Yeah,
and sometimes they would disguise the blitz and then send two guys back into coverage. But you'd have six guys on the line, and then the defensive backs back on uh the
yeah, yeah. They were standing. They were standing at the sticks, right? Like all of them. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Thank you. And there
You
was a
know,
big gap in the back.
I would have rather them just bring everybody because like they were faking that double A blitz where we're just like, oh yeah, oh we're dropping back in coverage. Look at
Yeah.
us, we're confusing you. And he stepped up and threw it right behind the guys like twice,
Hmm.
and for like big yards. And like I mean, I was like, just bring some dudes, man. Like he can't step up, make him do something. But I get that they're also trying to play coverage and then also trying to keep him in the pocket. Whatever. I'll say this:
But the
if you're a great pass rusher, maybe come to North Texas because we sure could use you. You know, it'd be great.
you'd be starting every down. Uh, it worked for the most part, right? Even though they would have a completion, it wouldn't be for 12, 15 yards in most cases, right? If the tackle was sound. But they were picking apart the soft parts of the zone, not just behind the linebackers, but in between the safeties. So that was pretty frustrating to watch there, but they
Yeah,
were able to contain it for the most part.
yeah. You make a good point, right? 'Cause, so one friend of the show, Greg Godek, he tweeted. He was like, "I don't like Eric Morris going for it on fourth down at the end of the half. Right? We turn over on downs, and like FAU, goes down and gets a field goal. Like I don't mind the aggression. I know the whole point is like we don't get the ball in the second half. Like it's just kind of trying it. But I think the risk is low at that point, right? It's first half. You're trying to do whatever. Like might as well go try to score. I get it. You also get just another chance at it. Like FAU turns around and to your point, two linebackers, two corners, and a safety all missed the tackle on the little check down pass to their running back. Like that cannot happen, right? We have to make a tackle. We have to make a tackle and a check down. And it's one thing to make tackles against Wyoming, Tulsa. You got to do it against FAU because they have more dudes, right? Like I said, FAU there's a lot of talent on FAU squads. There's always talent on FAU squads. Memphis, they're gonna have some dudes that you need to be great at tackling, killing,
The first time, yeah.
yeah. You have to tackle. Like this it portends bad things. We got to be able to bring those guys to the ground. And I get they're all good and whatever like that. But we have four guys that are in the area, right? Ankle tackle, break. It's just not working. And normally our corners are pretty good at tackling. They're happy to come down and make a hit. They just weren't making tackles this time. And again, I wrote about this. I've done videos about this. Like every team schemes up to say, let's make their corners. Like what are they? 5'8", 5'8", 175 pounds. Let's make them tackle, right? Because it's not fun. So whatever. But we have to make tackles. So that's the second quarter, right? This is the quick. We're down 27-17. Nothing terrible. The big thing is that our offense is not smooth, right? But it's also not slow starting, right? So it's not like you'd be like, well, they just, if they can just get it together and click. It just sort of, hit and miss, right? Score,
Yeah.
touchdown, punt. Score, touchdown, punt.
I never felt like it was out of control or there was a problem happening. Like the plays were there, the guys were open, but you see the ball slip out of Chandler's hand.
Mm-hmm.
It was just wet. They had a dead duck in there. I think that was the near interception you're talking about. That was just tumbling. It's wet outside, and it's hard to grip the ball like that. Also, receivers were dropping the ball. It was in their hands. So I'm sure that's frustrating for us watching the game as well as for Chandler to pass it to a guy that's there and then it drops. And I mean, it has been the storyline of the season. I feel like the drop passes.
Yeah.
Um, but the weather was a big factor there.
Yes, yeah, but except for them, it wasn't a big factor for FAU.
Not
They,
right,
they, they were
but
like,
they're
oh yeah.
used to it. It's always wet in
I think
Florida.
that's maybe what they're gonna do. Like Camp Fancher had he had that Adidas ball because they're Adidas, and then North Texas had the Nike ball. Oh, maybe we switch over or something. I don't know what, but like I don't know. Like if he was like, oh, if it's a wet ball, maybe he was throwing terrible passes and it was slipping out of his hand right where it needed to. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's what.
That was the correction he
Yeah,
needed.
yeah. It's like when it was a dry ball, he just overthrows him, but it slips. Whoo,
Yeah,
dime, buddy,
yeah.
dime. So all right, so
Um,
so just to reset where we are, right? And this is recap. We're down by 10. We don't really have an answer for their quarterback. Turns out because he's going to be, MVP. He's Mike Vick and also Peyton Manning at the same time. We have no answer for it. We can't tackle. We're trying, and we I think we lose our DN Shipley. So and then our offense is sort of sputtering, right? It's not super bad, but just not as efficient as it looks like we're going to need them to be, given the fact that that FAU is just scoring every time, right? We need a shootout, and we have like a gun that's jamming. Nobody, All right, so we need to get a stop. We do get a stop, right? To start the second half, they turned the ball over on downs, I think it was, and then we go and score, right? I think that's what happened. Yeah, we scored a touchdown. I forgot which score that was. I'm gonna have to look it up. Was this to Mackenzie McGill? Yeah, where he truck sticks the guy. So we feel a little bit better. And after this point, I think I mentioned this already. The cumulatives, the quarter half stuff. Third quarter only, we held FAU to 95 yards, and like I mentioned, a lot of that was sort of gifting them the what you call it. So we score a touchdown, and then we get a stop. Right, get a stop, score a touchdown, get a stop. We feel good. Then Chandler Morris throws that terrible, awful interception that sets him up for an easy score. And that was like it was one play, 12 yards. I'm wrong. You know what? Yeah, they turned the ball over and then they had a missed field goal. That's the other one that happened. We forced a missed field goal. Anyway, we throw that terrible interception. We had a chance to go up. And then, they score a touchdown. So then we're right back down 10 again. We go down, 10 plays, 58 yards, kick a field goal. We force a punt. And then the situation is 8 minutes left, 4th and 6. They punt it and they down us down like at the 2, right? We're down. Yeah, we're down.
Yeah.
We're down 7, and it feels like we're down more. I think everybody's tweeting like that. We're only down 7. 8 minutes to go. Offense is clicking more in the second half, right? We've already had a long touchdown drive, 7 plays, 65 yards. If it weren't for that terrible interception, I feel good about it. 10 plays, 58 yards. We got a field goal attempt. We're moving the ball, right? Even after this punt down at the 1, we moved the ball 31 yards in 8 plays. It's pretty good. I'll just make a note. We first half and second half, we were poor, and I think we had that field goal attempt, right? We was it that 10 plays, 58 yards? We actually scored a touchdown there, right? But we had a procedure penalty, our second one of the day. Now, to the refs' defense, I guess they were calling it both ways because they called it on FAU too. They're like, hey, too many men in the backfield or whatever.
Yeah,
procedure
I
procedure
didn't
penalties
feel
holdings.
like the refs were a factor in the game, which usually is not the case where I'm yelling at the refs, but I was like, all right, the refs were fine.
Open
Um,
your
but
eyes.
but on that series to get out of the end zone, I think there was a dropped pass on the second down, that would have gone for a first down, I think. And then that third down conversion was the first one of the game, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right about that one. I forget the sequence and without like staring at the thing. I think you're right, and like even if it's not exactly right, it feels right because that's kind of what it was. Is like it was. My point is that I feel like it was good to get out of the end zone, and that's a win, right? We're at the one. We moved 30 yards. Let's punt the ball. Yeah, it was a 3rd and 3 intercepted, no play. There's offside. I remember that one. I'm looking at the third quarter. I'm trying to figure out where that was. I'm trying to, say that you're right. Long
I
story
think that was
short,
fourth quarter.
fourth quarter. Yeah.
Yeah,
Where were we?
around the 8 minute or 10 minute mark.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Where is it? Field goal
Well,
attempt.
while you're looking for it, by this, it's the first conversion, third down conversion of the game, and what I was feeling frustrated with is on some of these, all the rest of them before that, there was a lot of dropped passes for sure, but multiple runs on third down, and it wasn't like a third and short, but it was a third and medium or third and long, and I was thinking like, what are you doing? Are you overthinking it? Are you trying to like, hey, they're not going to expect this? I mean, in the end, it it worked in their favor, but that's foreshadowing. But yeah, I was feeling frustrated with runs on long third downs.
Yeah, you're right. So Nick Remper did drop a pass on second down, but he made up for it on third down. I do remember that. And then so that was a third down conversion. And I think that was the first of the game. We converted 3 of 4 in the fourth quarter. We were 0 for 1 on fourth down in that one. And that, like I said, that came up, and I feel like there was a little bit of frustration in that moment, right? So like you go 32 yards and you feeling good. We're dropping passes. We're making mistakes, and I feel like Eric Moore said, "Let's go for it," not thinking about the game because the defense now is playing well, right? You're asking your defense to make a stop either way, right? Not sure you're saying, well, we're also asking our offense to convert 6 yards. And I get that. But you punt the ball, you flip the field, and then if your defense gets a stop, which you believe they can, they're going to have to get a stop anyway, you get the ball in a better position, ready to score. And you just need 7 to tie. That's it. That's all you need. And then it's a completely different game. As it was, if you fail from the 32-yard line, they are in field goal position. Now it's a 2-score game. Now you need to score, stop, score again, all under like 4 minutes, right? That's asking for miracle time. It's not even just get a stop. It's get a stop, get a 3 and out. You know, it's in that territory. Time your timeouts correctly.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
You're asking for a three and out because I believe at this point you're out of timeouts, and if they get a first down, the game is over.
Yeah,
I understand the aggression. I think I was watching an NFL game that had a similar situation, and they ended up losing that game because they failed. No, because they punted it, and the analytics said they should have gone for it. And if they failed, they would allow them to score, and then you come back and score twice. That there was enough time. But I think in that game they had timeouts left, and in this game we had no timeouts. So I understand it from an analytics perspective. I know people don't like to talk about or accept that analytics would, when you're in the game, numbers don't mean much when you're getting tackled.
yeah.
Um, but I get it because we won. If we hadn't, I would have been upset about it.
So this is one of those things where I feel like it's not bad, right? But there's a weakness that you have when you're the play caller and the head coach, right? You're the head coach, you can see the whole game, right? You're looking at it both sides of it. You're thinking about who's going to stop, what's going to happen. When you're the play caller, you're leaning towards the offense, right? And I mean, I don't know. Like everybody feels that everybody's played a video game. Like, oh, I could have converted. Let me go. I'm gonna go for it, right? I'm gonna go for it anyway. And you run the risk of just, like I said, compounding a situation. And full credit to the defense, right? Matt Capone deserved his criticism for the first half because they came on and they got sliced up. Second half, they locked it down. And like I said, it's my opinion that both allowed scores, 10 points in the second half, were really Chandler Morris's fault and, Eric Morris's fault. Now you'd be like, well, you should allow a field goal, you shouldn't allow one play touchdown, guy broke 2 tackles. Yes, I get all that. But you know what I'm saying, right? Is that quick changes are
Yeah.
terrible, short fields are
You're,
terrible.
you're giving them opportunities that they didn't have before.
Yeah, the two short fields we gave them, they scored a touchdown and a field goal. And that's what happened here. They got a first down, then they kicked the field goal, a little chip shot field goal. Credit to the defense for holding them only to a field goal. But that made it 10 points again. So then, all right, now you absolutely need a score. And they did. Credit Eric Morris, 8 plays, 75 yards, minute 43. They score, but again, you're asking a lot of the defense here, of the offense, right? 2 minutes, 38 seconds left. You have to go, like I said, the length of the field, right? Score, get a stop. Has to be a stop.
So at this point, I feel like the offense was performing well, but in terms of the scheme, right? Guys were getting open, guys were there. Morris was either, the ball was slipping out of his hand or guys were dropping it. So we were attacking, we were just not executing. And again, the rain was a factor there, and I was feeling okay with the decisions that were being made at that point, except for a lot of the runs on third down. That's where I'll.
So we get the ball, right? And just to do the TikTok of this is what TikTok used to mean. We get the ball with 4 minutes, 21 seconds left to go, right? And so first play, deep shot to Jeremiah Aaron. That's the one we motioned out Mackenzie McGill. I think we were trying to get him to switch so that way we had Jeremiah Aaron on a like the nickel corner, maybe a linebacker. They didn't do that. They just walked the linebacker out. And so we throw a deep ball, doesn't happen. Next one is Landon Sides. I think you can see it on the thing. Eric Morris says bunch six, right? Which basically says from the formation bunch, right, where we have the three guys to the right, let's throw four verts, right? Six. And so I think Chandler Morris changed the play because he does this, and he tells the guys that, and he's looking at him, and then they sort of adjust, and he throws a quick bubble out to Landon Sides. He catches it, scoots for 8 yards. Okay, 3rd and 2. They speed, no huddle, get to the line, and you're talking about the run. Hand it to Shane Porter, first down, right? He runs for 4 on 3rd and 2. It's a little outside zone, just knocks it out, first down. Then we throw to Landon Sides. This one I was almost intercepted. This is another one he just kind of forced in there. 2nd and 10. This is the huge one, right? Quick pass, a little screen pass to DT Sheffield. Avoids the dude, turns it up 15 yards, right? On the play by play, it says, DT Sheffield 15 yards, but he caught it to 40 and then gets to the FAU 40. UNT 40, gets to the FAU 48. Ridiculous, right? Just ridiculous play by a playmaker. Then Kazir Brown was injured, their dude injured, so we have a little bit of time. We throw a quick pass to Miles Coleman, incomplete, and then we just float it. Again, we just call 6. Float it to Dalton Carnes. Unnecessary roughness. We get all the way down the field because it was a 33-yard play, add 15 yards, and so then we throw a little corner route to DT Sheffield. So was the offense humming? Yes and no. I think that 33-yard play was. I think there was a little fortune in there because Chandler Morris just dropped it into the bucket. Right, there was just that
beautiful
was a
pass.
great play. Yeah, that. There was another one where they called the same play, and it was supposed to be like a fade where Dalton Carnes is supposed to stop, come back to the ball, and then Morris threw it, and it was almost intercepted. So that was the play right before they went for it on 4th and 6 when they shouldn't have. But this time it worked out. Just beautiful. Dropped it in the bucket. Didn't matter if the ball was wet. All right. Huge snap. Absolutely need a stop. 2 minutes, 38 seconds left in the game. They immediately run for 6 yards. And they end up getting a first down. They run for 6 and 5. This is first down. So we called timeout, and then we called timeout after the first down play, right? So it's 1st and 10, clock stopped, and I think it was at I don't say it was like 2:16 left. I thought Eric Morris managed the clock, like basically after this decision, very well. Like this is what you
Yeah.
do. I've seen other games this week, last week, where they were just letting it go. They're like, we'll wait to the 2 minute, and then we'll call timeouts after the 2 minute. Like no, you're just giving 30 seconds away. They called timeout. They were aggressive with it, and the defense had. He basically gave his defense a chance here because they were stopping those east-west runs before this point. These two runs here, 6 and then 5, they got gashed a little bit. Like 6 yards is not a gash, but when you need a 3 and out, that's a gash. And so 1st and 10 from the 36, 2 minutes and was it like 23 seconds left, 1 yard. Great job defense. I forget, was it Terrell Dawkins? Great job. Timeout. 2:16 left. Cam Fancher tries a little speed option, no yards. Terrell Dawkins again. He brought him down. He pulled down his shoulder, and then they were like, "Oh, he horse collared me."
Yeah. It was a jersey. It was the jersey. Yeah.
Hey ref, he gave me an ouchie. So then, all right. So it sets up, and then we get the 2 minute, right? We used up our third timeout, I think, at that point, right? It sets up 3rd and 9 from the 37, and I was like a little bit delayed on this. I only realized this, so I had to close my laptop. I didn't see what anybody's reaction was because I realized I was like 15 seconds behind everybody because I went back to look at the play. Anyway, at this point, I was like 8 of 14 is FAU. I felt like they got super conservative, and Tom Herman had, you do like a chess. He did a blunder, or maybe like it was just a mistake or something like that. When they mark it, like you had a chance for mate, you missed it. Like I would line up in whatever play, whatever formation worked in the first half, and just do that. Give your guy options and let your guy go make a play. Instead, they call a little bubble something, little bubble screen, try to swing it out. And I understand their thinking. Like here's an easy pass, guy will catch it. He has a chance to run for a first down up the sideline. It worked in the first half, right, once. But I feel like you're taking away one of your most dangerous weapons, or maybe the most dangerous weapons, in your quarterback, who could not be tackled by North Texas apparently, and also was making throws on the run previous to this. They got a first down like 2 drives earlier with that, where he escaped a guy. He put Wazlowski in conflict, where he had to go down, try to make a tackle, and he just dropped it to him. First down, FAU. Do something like that. But instead, drop pass. What is it? I forget the guy. Jabari Smith drops a pass. And then that helps North Texas even more because it saved another 40
Stopping the
seconds.
clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to throw the ball on 3rd down, throw it to the sticks. That's what I say. Or don't drop the pass or something. I don't know. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that's.
I think it's another one of those situations where the coach is just overthinking it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Easy pass, they're gonna catch it. Even if we don't make the first down, the clock is gonna roll. But then you don't account the fact that stuff happens and the guy drops the ball.
Yeah, I
Yay,
mean,
yay us.
yeah. So like again, so that's the part where, like I said, it's like Tom Herman. I think he calls the play still too, right? Charlie Fry, former Cleveland Brown, former like Akron Zip, Charlie Fry. I was like, God, he's looking rough too. Anyway, it's like,
Isn't he our age?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, why does he look like 15 years old? Like, dang, it's rough coaching up them FAUs. Anyway. So it's a punt, right? Okay. This is clutch time right here. 27-yard return by DT Sheffield. That's 30
Amazing.
yards that you don't have to get on a, like a play. There's no clock, what I'm saying, down management. You just scooting 27 yards, free yards. Basically 3 first downs, just about, right? Chandler Morris throws it quickly to DT Sheffield, 19 yards. That was a little screen. So I said this on Billy and Carter's show, and I wanted to get your reaction. I'm going to pause right here and just see your reaction. Because we're talking about Seth Luttrell versus Eric Morris, and I felt like it just came to me during that show they're talking. I feel like Seth Luttrell, given the fact that he was a wrestler, right? Like a real wrestler, not, he didn't come out to, like, to fireworks and stuff.
Against the Von Erichs.
Yeah. So, he's a wrestler, and then he was a fullback, right? Like, he played a running back in, like, the elite system or whatever, but he was a fullback, right? And I feel like that informs his offense a little bit because he has his game plan. Like, this is what's going to work. And when it's not working out, he's like, well, we're going to call that again because it needs to work. There's a lot of, like, force, right? This is how I solve problems is with, force, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'm a fullback.
Aggression.
Eric Morris was a hooper, right? He was a 5'8" hooper too, and then he was a wide receiver. And I feel like maybe he wants to outforce somebody, but you're like, hey, look, I'm 5'8", you know.
Need some finesse.
I'm not gonna go dunk on this guy. There's some times you just got to bring the ball out, swing the ball. Like you have to use, like you said, some finesse, zig when when everybody's zagging. When they expect you to do A, you do B. And I feel like there was a lot of that in this one, and it was, you throw a screen. This screen right here to DT Sheffield. Again, you kind of expect four verts, people going down the field. We need points. We need to get down the field. How about a little screen? 19 yards, first down. Okay, keep it going, right?
And this is that same screen that we ran earlier. That's the one that I referenced that we ran 2 times.
Yeah, a little middle screen there, like where I think both our guards stepped out. I think it was, and then we just throw it. DT Sheffield catches it, scoots. I mean, you love him in open field, man.
Yeah, because you expect the screen going out to the outside, and that they're kind of setting up for that. And you have the defense focus on the outside. And is this where Sheffield fumbles?
Yes,
in slow motion. I feel like this was the slowest fumble I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, I hated it. It was like boom, doo doo. I was like, get out of my, because it was at one of those fumbles where like, and those are horrible, right? You fumble and then like your arms are pinned and like you could see the receiver or the ball carrier like, no, like because you can't go get it, and because he like scooted past our team, there's nobody else to scoop it up, and so the ball bounces out of bounds, thankfully, and I think it was Kazir Brown guy that forced it. He was like, oh, jumping in. He's like, oh, that was it. That was the game win. There was a lot of game-winning potential plays there. Now, there was one where, like I said, on the previous drive where we scored to make it 3, where they almost intercepted it, where the guy just like hit him. It was. So then we try to run it. Shane Porter, -1 yard play. Non good. I'm sorry. The next one was the Shane Porter 34-yard run. And this is the play. Again, you line up, you see that FAU fires off. They get around the edge. They're expecting another pass. It's 1st and 10 on the FAU 39, right? So we're in their territory. It's right near shot time, right? Everybody takes a shot, right? We're only 40 yards away. Let's see if we can score. Little inside handoff. Shane Porter scoots down in 34. He probably could score. Also, I think he was looking to get around. I think it was a Hammond block or a side.
Yeah,
or something.
waiting for a block. But it's like another one of those chess situations that you were talking about, right? Where we would get gashed like that. Maybe not gash, but FAU would get lots of yardage because our line would try to go around, leaving nothing behind. Right, the linebackers were also aggressive, pushing down, opening up that space behind those linebackers, and then that allowed their running backs to go into deep into the field, and that's the same situation there where we're like, okay, well, they're going to expect pass, so we're going to run it. And before, I've been mentioning that third down run, and not getting much out of it, maybe 1 or 2 successes, but at this point, it hasn't been successful, and I watch it unfold. I'm like, no,
well,
and he just blows through there.
So yeah, like if we change the wording, right? Because this is a first down, but like passing down runs. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like that's the problem when you're zigging when the other team expects you to zag. If it doesn't work out, everybody goes, "Why would you zig? This is clearly a zag situation, and you're zigging. What's wrong with you?" But when it works, you look like a genius, right? And
Right.
Hey,
They were, to their credit, there's a couple of other times that Shane Porter ran it up for big gains throughout the game, right? But yeah, we're expecting pushing it down the field.
Yeah, no timeouts. I don't know how much time. It was like I don't know how much time was left. It was like getting to a minute. So just huge plays, like big chunk yards, right? 19 on that pass to DT Sheffield, 34 on the run to Porter. So 2 plays. That's what, 50, 60 yards, whatever it is, right? I'm trying to do on that. It's like on the field
On
math.
the fly math.
Eek, didn't work. All right, so then
Math Green Network.
yeah, so then we hand it off to Porter again. I absolutely hate. Hey, that run worked. Let's run it again. I've watched thousands of hours of football, and that works like 6% of the time. Right? It's always like big run. Oh yeah. Even like Barry Sanders, right? Barry Sanders 75-yard run. Let's give it to him again. It never works. It just doesn't work. Like just run it again doesn't work.
Yeah, you hit triangle, and you no huddle rush to the line. You select inside zone again, and boom, it blows up in your face.
So -1 yard run to Shane Porter, and then FAU calls a timeout. Right. That again, poor clock management by them. I think I don't know. They're just I don't know what they're thinking. And then we do a little jet pass to DT Sheffield. He almost scored on this one too. A little 3 yard, little something. And then finally another timeout. Minute 3 left. I think they were trying to save some time so they can score. Then the quick toss to Sheffield, touchdown North Texas, and Eric Moore said this is the Cooper Cup play, and it was basically he's running a little out behind another out route, so that way you can't get to him, and it's hard to guard him. So you see a lot of stuff where like especially in the red zone where you'll have stacked receivers, so it's hard to get man up on them, or like the releases are like sort of staggered, so you get a natural pick. This was like two out routes, so that you couldn't get onto him. Easy touchdown, right? Apparently Chandler Morris called this, and he was saying, "I want the Cooper Cup play. Let's run this one." And then he told DT Sheffield, "I just need one catch from you." And he's like, "Yeah, right. Just give it to me." 11.
It's like a movie storyline.
Yeah, he's like, "Dude, yeah, just call my number." And yeah, dude, like they couldn't stop him. I think he was the only guy to catch passes on this one. Yeah, so he caught the screen. Again, it's just a little screen. I don't think the ball traveled further than like 4 yards from the line of scrimmage in all of the passes on that final drive. And that's fine because, it was hard for Chandler Morris to chuck it down the field because of the rain, like you said. It's easy. You can just do like this. Yep, here you go. Bloop, 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 bloop. So we flipped it. And my mind immediately switched to Memphis 2023. We're like, remember we went down the field and scored?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely cannot allow them to. And so if you want to put it all in the context, right, you can hear cut to me saying, if we can get those stops, right, if we just get that stop, then we win. Then we're not a 5-win team. We're a 6-7-win team. Hey, we've equaled last year's win total, 5-1, because again, last year the defense got some stops, but they didn't get enough stops. Here, Jaden Hill, interception on the second play from scrimmage. Cam Fancher, again, he scrambled out on 1st and 10. He ran for, 14 yards, scooted out of bounds. Okay, they're on their own 41, and he just threw a terrible pass, like the kind of pass.
It was awful, yeah.
That we saw him throw on tape leading up to this one. Like
there he is.
Yeah, that's the Cam Fancher I know. It was very much a Cinderella, carriage turning back into a pumpkin thing, where you're like, that's the dude that I thought we can get some interceptions on. And so, yeah, that was it. And then it was sort of a funny moment. Jaden Hill intercepts it. He lays down on the ball. He's holding it. Eric Morris is like, everybody get off the field. Javen Anderson comes over, and he, like, hugs him, but he kind of sort of bends him back. I don't know if he actually got hurt or he just something. But, like, it was like, I remember, this is going to be for, like, two people, if any. Like when I was a kid, I remember like Carl Herrera for the Spurs. He hit like a game winner. And then like Avery Johnson jumped on his back or something like that. And then that hurt his back and he was out for like the next 3 weeks or something like that. And I was like, what a stupid thing to do. So that almost happened, but he was just kind of like, I did it. So a lot of notes in that last one. I would just say that we had some subs. I saw Quentin Hammonds play. I saw Cam McFarland play. I saw the first minutes for BJ Allen. And if there's a guy that looks fast and like he's reading things as quick as Jaden Hill, it's BJ Allen. He looked a little quicker than like maybe any other safeties. And that's just, based on 1 or 2 plays. So don't read too much into that. But what were your thoughts after seeing that, even though you already kind of knew what was going to happen?
I mean, sheer excitement for sure. I watched that one at wrestling, so I was pretty in well at the show. On top of I was both like shaky and excited about wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my feelings were like, okay, the offense is fine, the defense is fine. It was just like one of those games where stuff just goes wrong, right? We did what we could, but the rain was a huge factor. We weren't able to overcome the rain for most of the game until we could. Falling off, slipping off tackles, couldn't make those tackles. Dropping the ball, but they were placed all right. We were getting open, we were executing 99%, but that 1% was, zero third down conversions until the fourth quarter. It mattered. It mattered. But I think we're okay in that sense. We may not be able to execute against like a Tulane or an Army or Navy enough to overcome, but we have enough there to make it a game. Um and then what was the final thing that I wanted to say? Shoot, you go next. I'll remember what I was trying to get to.
Yeah, so I think those are good points, right? It's like that's college football, right? That whatever you have on paper, when you play in the game, right? There's gonna be rain, there's gonna be sun in your eyes. Somebody's gonna get hurt. Somebody's gonna have an off day, and you're just like, like it's one of those things where you just like you see guys stare at their hands. You're like, what? I always catch that ball. How did it go through? Yeah, like it just stuff happens, right? That's life, and that's why you play the games and all that other good stuff. Like nobody thought Army on paper. Like going back to a video game, you look at the video game, they're terrible, right? They're like rated 70. I played online again using them. It was fun to score with them, but like once they kind of figure out, like, all right, he's gonna do the dive option, they just kill you. It's
Mm-mm.
whatever. But in real life, it's a lot harder to guard that kind of stuff. And I mean, they're Army's tearing apart a bunch of teams. Like every week's a different challenge, and I think that's why you look at like a conference championship, and you want to cherish that, right? Because it is a grind, it's an accomplishment. Like we beat an assortment of teams, and we had to do it we had to go prove it, right? We had to go beat Cam Fancher, who suddenly turned into,
Cam Ward,
yeah, Cam Ward. He's doing the
you're
thing.
welcome.
He's doing the thing. Like yeah, like that's what happens sometimes. Like you just play a team, and then suddenly they're just unbeatable, right? You're like, this team was not this team before, right? That's what's great about college football sometimes, right? Like Vanderbilt just jumped up and looked unstoppable against an Alabama, and you look, here's a 5-star, this guy's a 3-star. This guy is gonna be in the NFL. That guy's maybe gonna be a doctor. How is this happening right now? It just happens. That's what makes it fun. So, like you want to give yourself as many chances as you can, right? Like have a great quarterback. Also have a great scheme, right? Don't just rely on the quarterback to just, throw it through, everybody and find one guy on a dime, right? Have a scheme, right? Have multiple options, multiple weapons. So Mackenzie McGill, 7 rushes, 50 yards, that score. And he truck sticked the dude. That was like, it was at the goal line, 3 yards. That's beautiful stuff, right? I've been thinking about that. I was watching some stuff where you like, there was a coach that's talking about. He's like, look, football is it's a violent game. It's a physical game. Like you can scheme up this, that, and the other, and whatever. In the end, sometimes you just got to run a dude over. Like that's the answer, right? Yeah, and that is right. Hey, we schemed up this guy. This gonna get this block. You're gonna down here. You're gonna out leverage this guy. It doesn't matter. Mackenzie McGill is 3 yards. It's Oklahoma drill. You got to run through the guy's face, and he did. He ran through his face. Touchdown, North Texas. That's how you win, right? If you don't run through his face, then we have to do it again. But that's also why you win. You win your battles. Mackenzie McGill won his battle. Touchdown, North Texas. That's the difference. And he's the fourth string running back, right? That's what you
Which
need.
is insane.
You need guys to do it. DT Sheffield, he was not the starting guy. Like we were like, hey, he might be interesting. He might kind of mix him in here and there. 11 catches, 126 yards, right?
And we've said that multiple times, right? A whole host of catches, hundreds of yards, dozens of touchdowns.
Yeah, but then so like there's that Dalton Carnes, 3 catches, 56 yards, a score, right? If Dalton Carnes doesn't catch that beautiful dime, he dropped it in the bread basket. But if you don't catch that, If he doesn't catch that other one in the first quarter, first drive, where he catches it, spun, scores a touchdown, North Texas is not there yet. It takes contributions from everybody, right? Like I said, Terrell Dawkins making two great plays, stopping it for a 9 yard gain, sprinting out, like shedding his block, getting to the quarterback, pulling him down. All that is huge, right? And then everybody else making their reads, everybody shedding their blocks, doing a great job, fighting through it because you're getting your behinds handed to you in the first half, right? It was not good.
Yeah, and I remembered what I was going to say earlier is that Morris's ball placement is looking pretty elite. It's looking pretty awesome, and he leans into it, which for better or worse, he leans into it in one of the. I think there was a touchdown in the corner of the end zone or
Yeah,
early on
yeah,
in the
yeah,
game.
yeah,
Might have been the first one. Beautiful pass, right? Then we talk about the one that was in the breadbasket. But then you've got other times where he leans on it and he just is off by inches, and then it turns into multiple interceptions in a game like against Tech. So I I appreciate the decision making. I don't think that there should be a change in terms of that mentality.
yeah.
Like keep going, keep attacking. If it's gonna get intercepted, fine, but let's run it again and let's get a touchdown next time.
Yeah, and, like for me, I think the difference is like be aggressive in these situations, but maybe not these situations, right? It's
Sure.
like that interception in the second half. Don't try to fit it in there. Like you got to think about time and space. Like we don't need that. Even if you complete it, we don't need that so hard where the juice is not worth the squeeze. Basically,
Well,
like
I don't think he saw the linebacker drop back into coverage. He was because that I saw it unfold where he kind of starts to drift. The linebacker starts drifting backwards because he sees the route behind him, and then he's the receiver. I can't remember who the target was, but the receiver is double covered on the outside, so he's got the confidence to squeeze it right there if there's two guys on the outside. But he didn't see the other guy drift back, and he does the glitch interception
yeah,
where he just jumps 10 feet in the
yeah,
air and grabs it. I mean, the interception was amazing.
yes,
But
but
I don't think he saw him.
yeah, but that's my point. Is that that? I think that's a window that you're like, yeah, I can fit it in there. But don't. You don't need to. It's not fourth down, game on the line, where we need that skill, right? Pump fake it, scramble for 2 yards, right? We can have 2nd and 8. That's fine. Let's have 2nd and 8. We'll be happy with that. We run another play, right? We'll do that again. Something. But that's the part is that like that's what I'm saying is like fit it in there when we need you to do it, right? Games on the line. Game one on the line just then, and that just flipped the field and that put us in a bad position. But everything you said is true. Is that obviously Chandler Morris is great. 27 of 45, 336 yards, 4 scores, 60% completion. And like I said, he made huge throws when we needed him. He also had hidden yards where he ran for stuff. He had 23 yards, but he also scored a touchdown that got taken off the board. Like he was a lot better. And I think the theme about North Texas this season is that there's a lot of great plays that have been left on the field, like that are hidden, got taken away by penalties, where they're scoring first down is SFA, where they're scoring, moving the ball. In this game, we took I think 2 scores off the
Two
board for the
scores,
yeah.
yeah. It's a big difference.
Yeah, it's huge. It was funny because I ran. Well, I had to go use the restroom. I was like, "Let me know they scored." And my wife from down the hall was like, "We scored." And they come back. They're like, "Oh, they took it." And I was like, "What happened?" And that's when I went back to go see what happened. Um,
Yeah,
so
it turned a first and goal or a touchdown at the first and goal to first and goal at the 24-yard line, I think.
and remember we were laughing about that. Like we scored a touchdown from like first and goal from the 27. Like we need to stop
Mhm.
doing that. Let's get first and goal from the 9. You know what I mean? Like we don't need from the 27 or 30. Make it harder on ourselves. I don't know how that's gonna change. Again, we have some young receivers. We got to clean that up. As Eric Moore said, is that we have to line up. We got to be perfect lining up. Like that's an easy one, right? There's no pressure on us to line up incorrectly. The
Yeah,
defense,
patience,
yeah,
right?
defense is not putting their hands on us. Just get lined up. It absolutely needs to happen every time. And I mean, yeah. So going back to, like I said, the defense, I just want to call out some great play here because they sort of get hidden. You only see the guys that missed the tackle or something like that. Jaden Hill eight tackles, and he did not play a good portion of the game, right? He came out the game. I don't know if they were like saving him or something like that, but like Camden McFarland played a lot. Um, Quentin Hammonds played a lot. He had 4 tackles.
I think Hill got hurt early on.
Yeah, there was something like that. Yeah, and B.J. Allen had 3 tackles. He stepped in. He was in basically only the nickel packages. And again, Xavier Bryce. I keep calling him Bryce. Bryce. He had the fumble recovery, right? He didn't play a lot. He played cornerback. Rich Tejada, I don't think he had the greatest of games. But I appreciate that he's always willing to get, because he's like 2'4" or whatever, right? 2'4", 30 pounds. He's like a toddler out there, and he's out there willing to make tackles. He flies in there. He gets low. It's not like I'll just roll on the ground. You see some cornerbacks there that just kind of like dive and then just easily hopped over it. He'll get stuck in, like full on form tackle and try to make a hit. And it's not always his fault that he's giving up 100 pounds or whatever.
Well, it's like Lord of the Rings, right? The Gimli's like we're fast or quick in short and small distances, and he'll close the gap pretty quick. And I think what I appreciate about him, I don't know if he's a lockdown corner or if we can consider him that at this level. But you don't hear about him a lot because usually his guy's not targeted. Well, I say usually. Uh, a lot of times his guys aren't targeted because he's smothering them. Obviously he's not perfect, but yeah, he gets the job done, and we kind of don't have to worry about that side of the field. We talk about everybody else, right? All these contributors on the other side, and he's an island over there.
Yeah, like I said, and when they do target him, they'll run at him. And like I said, I appreciate our cornerbacks' ability and willingness to go make a tackle. They're not afraid of it. They don't always make, like I said, it's not like, hey, let's let him run to Ridge Tejada because he's gonna lay the wood there. It doesn't happen that way, but he's willing to make a tackle. Evan Jackson got hurt, but he had 4 tackles in the time that he was there, and 3 of them were solo. I saw a lot of good from our defensive line, especially Terrell Dawkins. Rod Brown was getting in there. Valea had to hurry, even though he didn't bring the guy down. But yeah, I don't know. Like say next week, I don't know that Hennigan is going to do that, right? Hennigan's not going to spin out, but you know what? I don't even know because maybe he will. Like maybe he gets the ghost of the football gods. Like, oh, you're talking mess. Seth Hennigan, the wheels. He's gonna have just ridiculous
Well, it's
speed.
like it's like in EA college football, the player the week before accomplishes these certain goals, and then for a week these stats get boosted up.
Yeah,
That's gonna happen.
yeah, I was doing like the road to glory, and I was like, you took an NIL deal, and so now my spin move is like +3. And I was like, how does this work
Yeah.
exactly? But yeah, yeah. So maybe that's what happens. He's gonna, he's gonna get in the classroom, and then he's gonna get +3 speed or something like that. I don't know. Uh, it'd be amazing if North Texas could get lined up, stop holding, and catch passes. Because then I think these 500-yard games would be 700 yards. But it wouldn't be as entertaining, I guess.
We're just trying to let the rest of the league catch up.
All right, so uh, I think we're gonna have to do a preview podcast sometime midweek, just because it's such a huge, big, quickly kind of game. Memphis, we're 5-1. I think they're 5-1 because they only lost to Navy or whatever. This has the vibes of that La Tech game in 2018 that you and I were both on the field for. The ending. And
Yeah.
then it has the same thing for the UAB game. Same thing where it has those kind of vibes where like it's a huge game. Like this feels like conference title kind of thing. Now I know Army is undefeated, and like so is Navy. We don't play Navy, so we don't have anything to do with them. We play Army, we play Tulane, we play Memphis. This is what it's all about, right? When we're talking about big games or like, looking at maybe, I wonder if we can get the college football playoffs. Well, you don't get to that unless you get through this. This is what matters, right? We want big games. We want important games. Memphis at Memphis is huge. Huge with a capital U. Huge. And then we got Tulane, right? This is the stretch here. We're talking about it where, if we want to win the league or be in the conversation about winning the league, this is where it matters.
Yeah,
And
it's a
that's huge.
gauntlet where we have to prove ourselves, right? If we want to talk about, like you said, making the conference championship, this is where we get into the discussion by taking care of business here. Otherwise, we talk about conference championship next year and building on our youth and recruitment and stuff like that. That's where the conversation shifts from now versus the future. Oh, we're doing great. We're going to win versus, oh, we're looking good and I bet we're going to be even better next year. Right. Which conversation are we going to have?
Yeah, and I always say that like um, Mason Fine went to the conference championship game in 2017, and then the team that was better, like I said, I was sort of defending him because people were like, "Oh, he's just like a garbage time merchant," Mason Fine. I was like, "No, he wasn't. He's not a garbage time merchant." But in looking at it closer, in 2018, he never had a game where he threw up not one pass where we were down by more than 15 points, because we were not down by more than 15 points until the bowl game where he was hurt, right? That 2018 team was so good. Like, they never trailed for like more than, a couple minutes or whatever it was. And again, until the end. They had a terrible loss against Charlotte, UAB, and Louisiana Tech, but they were all at the end, right? It was like, I think Charlotte threw a little pass because they're picking on our nickel corner or star corner, whatever we called it, which is like a hybrid safety thing. And then like, whatever. But we were so good that season, and you can't take anything for granted. Is my point, because that team didn't compete for a conference title game because we lost those regular season games so we couldn't play in the 2018 conference title game. 2017, we were a little bit like this team, I think, where it was like, how are we winning games? Like, that was the UTSA drive, right? That one that came back. That was the one where we beat Army at Army, I think it was, and then we had just like, was it against UAB where we scored like right at the end? It was just a lot of like, how do we pull off these wins where we're just winning games by skin of our teeth kind of deal. That team was not as good as the 2018 team. 2018 team was very good, and they were whooping teams. That was the one that beat Arkansas, right? That was the one that had a 5-1 record after the Louisiana Tech game. It was, you never know. You don't want to take anything for granted, because we might not,
Yeah,
we might be better next season, but not as good. We might not have as good a record. That's all my point there.
right, right. It's all how the cookie crumbles. But I think we have, compared to the 2017 team, I think we have a more mature setup. The run game's not as good because obviously we're down to our fourth string running back, but quarterback is much more developed, much more seasoned. Receivers, lots of talent across the board from freshmen to seniors. I think this offense is more explosive intentionally, not not accidentally, or
Yeah.
that's not the right word, right? You're saying about skin of your teeth, right? This one we were able to pull it out because we were better than the other team, and I felt like we were better than the other team through the whole game, just not executing, dropping passes, etc. I think I feel better about this team than I did in 2017.
Yeah. I mean, like these kind of cross team comparisons are, they can be kind of silly, but I would say, what I'm looking. Excuse me. North Texas. Yeah.
Because we're talking about a sophomore Mason Fine versus a senior or junior
Yeah. No.
Chandler
I
Morris.
want to do. I just want to put a bunch of caveats in there before I make anybody bad. I think Chandler Morris right now is a better quarterback than Mason Fine was in 2017. Right, like you said, because Chandler Morris has played 3-4 years. Right, high level systems. He's done it. He's done a lot more to this point. Than Mason Fine had up to that point. Right, start of 2017, he only had a freshman year where he kind of struggled. So yes, I think I would take 2017 receivers just in total, because you had Jalen Guyton, Rico Bussey, I think it was Mike Lawrence. Like, those are good. Those are quality guys. I'd definitely take 2017's running backs, because we had Jeff Wilson back there, and it was a game breaker. But like I said, I think our current offensive coordinator, I think I'd take Eric Morris over Seth Luttrell, or was it Graham Harrell at the
Graham
time?
Harrell.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, just because I think that Eric Morris has done a little bit more than Graham Harrell has. even at the time, that was year 2 for Graham Harrell. Eric Morris has been a coordinator for longer, and he's been a head coach and he's been a play caller for longer. He's just more experienced, and I think you can see that in some of these situations where he was ready for them. Yeah,
Well, you saw them go head to head, right?
yeah,
Um, Morris versus Harrell, at North Texas, and you're like, oh man, I wish we could do that. Right? This is an FCS squad, and they've got especially that running back. And was Cam Ward on that team too?
I think it was on
Um,
the team. No, it was a different guy, but
okay, okay. But anyway, you get my point, right? It's like, can we do that? And we talked about like, it would be awesome if we can get Eric Morris as an offensive coordinator at North Texas whenever Graham Harold moved on. But at that point, I think he'd had already moved to Wazoo. But anyway, yes,
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I can say a lot of these boil down to it's the journey, folks. It's the journey. Look, I feel real good about it. We're 5-1. North Texas, you're in North Texas, Mean Green. 5-1, heading to Memphis, and I still want to go down there, but I haven't made all the arrangements for it. I think I'll be fine. They have hotels in Memphis. I want to go to that game. I'm gonna bring the family. I don't know if I'm gonna do like as coverage game. I'm gonna be there in the press box. I kind of want to be, in the stands, but we'll see. We'll figure all that out. I'm excited. It's a huge game, and it's sort of a measuring stick game for everybody, right? Because like last year we hosted Memphis, they whooped us down, we came back, we nearly stole the game from them. I think they're going to be ready for that this time. They're going to respect Eric Morris. They're going to be ready for that kind of thing. They're still formidable, is Memphis, but they're also vulnerable, right? I don't think any AAC team is so good that you can say, well, it doesn't matter. They put their B team out there and run. It doesn't work that way. And we almost saw it right here, right? FAU is one of the worst teams in this league, and they nearly won. They had a 10-point lead with 2 minutes left or whatever it was, right? 4 minutes left. You got to take everybody seriously. And that also means it's flipped. Memphis has to take us seriously. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, they're 5-1. We respect them, all that other stuff. But yeah, we can scare you. We can scare ourselves, and we can scare you too. So I'm excited about it. It's good. It's good times.
Well, it's perfect time for scaring people. Halloween's around the corner.
Yeah, yeah.
Boo. Ah.
Yeah, that's how he's gonna say it. Like, hey, it's 4th down and 6 and around 32-yard line, and we're down 10. I'm gonna go for
Spooky situation.
it. No more scary stories. Dad, yeah, that's how he tells people. That's how he's scaring us. That was a good one. No more of that. Fun anecdote here. So we were gonna watch a scary movie, right? The family all together, and I was like, let's watch Dracula, the 1931 one, right? And
Nosferatu.
no, that's the Nosferatu. I'm talking about the Bela Lugosi one, and he does
Oh, yeah.
which again, classic movie. Some of the old film, they just kind of stare at him for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So in the lead up to it, I gave the kids a talk. Like, look, you can it's gonna be scary. That's the whole point. It's to scare you. There's nothing wrong with being scared, but you can't be so scared that you're not gonna go clean your room later because you're gonna be like, oh, I'm so scared. What are this? So we talked about all that, and I was like, y'all can sleep in our room tonight, but it's not an every night thing. Whatever. We talked about it, and then so my son, he's 3, and he was like, I guess the preview for the Wolfman, the old one, right, came out. It's like the Wolfman, starring whatever, like, and Arthur starts getting up, and my wife's like, "Where you going?" He's like, "I changed my mind." He goes off to bed. That was the thing. I was like, "You can go to sleep. It's okay. You don't have to watch the movie with us. But if you watch the movie with us, you have to stay in there. You can't, be screaming and bothering everybody." But yeah, he's like, I changed my mind. He took his pill and just walked out, and he went to sleep. So I was like, I respect
Peace out.
it. Yeah. And he's like,
Business decision.
it's too scary for me, Dad. Anyway.
Well, we got to come up with different Halloween plans for football game stuff like ghoul to go and stuff.
Yeah, we gotta do. All right, let's wrap this one up. This is good. It's been fun talking about it, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the Mean Green Nation podcast. Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Subscribe, and all the other good stuff. Like, tell your friends, send it to your mom. Send it to your tias, And they're like, "What is this? This is a show. I like the show. It's my favorite show." What? I thought you liked Succession or whatever. Yeah, I like Succession, but I like this show too. You watch the show. What are you talking about? And you're like, just watch it. Do it. Do the whole thing. And, go mean green.
Go Mean Green.